How are you doing, everyone? Bada Bing here, thank you for joining me today, and it is a good day because I have just passed 20,000 YouTube subscribers. 20,000. That's insane. To each and every one of you that has hit the red button since 2012, I appreciate every single one of you, and thank you so much for tuning into my little channel. So with that, I wanted to do my usual collection video to give you an update. Every single piece within this collection is a gas blowback operated airsoft gun, because, in my opinion, these are the most exciting airsoft guns you can get. They're more realistic, and they operate in exactly the same way the real counterparts do. Electric guns and springers just do not come close. But before we get into that, I have a big announcement to make. I decided to become a coffee roaster. After chatting with one of my friends, he brought up the idea that I could get into roasting my very own coffee. And during that discussion, I realized how much that made sense. After all these years of placing whatever random coffee I was drinking that week, besides whatever it was I was reviewing or whatever I had on the table, why not have my very own brand of coffee? And with that, it's time to reveal the name, and I think you could all make an educated guess on what I would be calling it. I give you Bada Bing Coffee. Yep, this idea felt like the most natural progression going forward. I took a roasting course at the end of 2022, I bought my roasting machine just after Christmas, and I've been roasting ever since. It's been so exciting getting into this, and I've been supplying coffee to family, friends, and colleagues for over 18 months. Hence why my major review videos have been in rather short supply. I've been dedicating a lot of my time to setting up the business and generally enjoying this new journey. I feel that now it's ready to merge with my YouTube channel and to start sharing with all of you. Just like my YouTube channel, I am flying solo with the whole thing. I don't have a co-pilot, so please bear with me. I specialise in producing ethically sourced, single origin coffee, sealed in my own custom designed recyclable bag. I am currently roasting 2 regions of coffee for the time being, and I plan to expand once I have a larger space, and also create my own blend or two. Right now you can go to badabingcoffee.com and order yourself a bag and enjoy it at home, at work, wherever. Check it out, links in the description. So then, the collection. Yes, it's gotten out of hand, but I do adore the majority of the items within this collection, so I'll take you through all of them, one at a time. And some of these were emotional purchases, ones that touched the heart, including those iconic pieces from movie history. You'll find quick access timecodes on the timeline if you'd like to snap to something specific. Let's kick it off with the Maruzen Volta PPK gas blowback pistol. Why did I buy a PPK? Well, I think the answer is obvious, isn't it?
Volta PPK, 7.65mm with a delivery like a brick through a plate glass window.
I love James Bond movies, and got into them in a big way in my teens. Mention Volta PPK, and that can only mean one thing. 007.
Bond. James Bond.
This is the latest piece I have in the collection, and this gas blowback pistol came out in February 2024. Maruzen have finally made a standard PPK. Their S model had been out for decades, and they've only just begun to make 007's issued sidearm. As it's Japanese made, you can expect a plastic slide and frame. It is what it is, but it is certainly a lovely concealable handgun. No wonder James Bond used it. I'll be reviewing it at some point, but until then, enjoy these test shots. Next up, here is the ever so slightly bigger brother, the Volta PPK-S, movie prop edition by Maruzen. It's been heavily used and abused throughout its life and spent time as my backup to my backup. The magazines I have both leak heavily from the output valve and will need fresh O-rings. It hasn't been used in years, so when I received my new PPK I swapped over the valve just so I can shoot this again for this video. Next on my list is the Tokyo Marui Glock 19, which was my last skirmish pistol, and it went out with a bang. So many fond memories of it chopping through the competition. Look at this kind of delivery. If you're indoors with one of these things and you're quicker than the other guy, you win. With that kind of sharp, loud bite, it tends to make people in front of you lose their initiative. Performance is phenomenal and the accuracy was decent as well. The Tokyo Marui HK USP9 is one of those things I've had for years, and probably one of my least used gas blowback pistols. Not that there's anything wrong with it, on the contrary, it's one of my favourites. With how brilliant this thing performs at any time of the year, it's criminal that it's not as widespread on the airsoft field. Probably because it's leaning on the side of being dated, and airsofters these days might prefer something from Medal of Duty. It's too bad they don't make a tactical version. Coming forward in time to the SIG Pro M17 by VFC. Now, I've reviewed this one in the past, and it's alright, it's not much of a high performer mind you. It doesn't like to lock back on empty, the gas system gets out of breath all too quickly, and the colour is vomit inducing. Oh my god, it actually locked back! Next is the opposite side of the same coin with the AEG Limited F17. Here's a piece which is VFC's main rival in this pistol category and has some surprising benefits. I might get around to producing a versus video, but in the meantime, I have my old review if you'd like to see that. The Tokyo Marui HK45 was my primary airsoft blaster for a long time. It's all ABS plastic. Regardless, this dog can still hunt, and it was exceptionally good at it. My HK45 once wore an Insight Technology PEC 14 and went up against Milsim players in the dead of night. That's the kind of level this pistol can perform at, where you can set your hop, zero your laser, and crush it. Its snappy action and relatively heavy recoil, considering its material construction, made it a winner in so many hearts. In 2014 it was between this and their M&P. Having experienced a friend's M&P, I'm glad I chose this. I much prefer single action and double action hammer-fired pistols. This has got to be among my favourite handguns to exist, and in a configuration that I hunted for about 15 years or more. I finally was able to acquire a Western Arms Beretta M92 FS, and not just any WA Beretta, This one is modelled after the main character's signature piece from the 1994 thriller Leon the Professional.
No women, no kids.
This special edition piece is no longer in production, and it's a rare find. I was so lucky to find it. I love it. Here we come to a bit of an oddball, especially for me, as I really do not care for this particular type, but as it was being sold with the Beretta, it made sense to buy it from the seller as well. Matilda's compensated 1911 from that same movie. Again, it's Western Arms made, which is a Japanese airsoft brand, so it is full plastic construction. However, having spent a few months in its company, I have warmed up to this 1911 a little bit. If I could acquire a Terminator 45 long slide, I could live with that, but to maintain my 1911 hatred, the rest of them belong in a museum. Ever since I saw Keanu Reeves blast a pair of micro Uzis, I wanted my very own. Many years ago I found this particular example on an airsoft forum for a price I couldn't refuse. The guy was selling a pair of them and I stupidly only bought the one. The Maruzen Type U is the most poorly constructed airsoft gun I have ever owned, or at least one of them anyway. It's awful. The only benefit to this machine pistol, other than the fact that it's a micro Uzi pistol, is its insane rate of fire. That's probably the only functional benefit. It will continue to drive fire while the magazine is empty of BBs, so it features no bolt stop. As this was made as a fun budget toy, not a lot was done to make it in any way practical. It's 144A or duster gas only, and even with that kind of fuel, it rattles the pants off of it.
Holy shit!
My love affair with MP5s may have begun with the standard A3 variant, but the beautiful compact size and vertical foregrip of the Kurtz makes for an aggressive feeling machine pistol. It's as iconic as the larger version and has featured heavily in action films since the 1990s, and I had to have one. You see what I mean? This Die Hard 2 actor employing the MP5K is displaying the absolute maximum aggression of the likes of which I have never seen before in any other movie. Compared to every other film that involves firearms, this guy makes everyone else look like Hickok 45 plinking on the range in comparison. I think he might have enjoyed shooting these scenes a little bit too much, and I would be the exact same way if that was me, and I think we all would.
I'm gonna kick your fucking ass.
I bought this one before I left the game, and I was due to use it on my last day, but my bro's gun went down and he had the pleasure of rocking it. He paid me back with Toblerone if I remember correctly.
Jake, it's going to be amazing when you pull that trigger. You're on 3-round burst.
Man, I keep catching this.
I wanted not to tell you, but I thought, but no, might as well.
I could always tell when he was letting that thing rip. It has a nice loud snap to it. WE Tech Apache K, or MP5K.
Uzi 9mm?
You know your weapons, buddy. Any one of these is ideal for home defense.
Moving along, and Northeast Airsoft MP2A1 is next. It's been a bit of a nightmare since I bought it, to be fair, and after some revisions with improved parts and mods, it's become an adequate little SMG. You can check out my video showing the improvements here. Yeah, it's not a bad gas blowback Uzi, it just had bad luck that Northeast were all too excited to put it out there before having it finished properly. Coming back over to MP5s, and these films are the reason why they are my favourite guns. The Umarex licensed MP5A5 by VFC is next. What can I say, it's such a good piece, and over the last few years it's really become a popular choice, despite having a silly bolt stop system. VFC MP5 version 2. The WE-Tech Apache A3 is still in my collection. It picks up the slack left behind by VFC, with the dry fire mode capable 45 round capacity magazine, hammer drop on empty system, and generally all-round reliability. Mine's had a little bit of tweaking underneath by smoothing out the working parts, so it is a touch quicker. It's another great choice for a gas blowback MP5, and it is an SMG that the manufacturer got right first time around. WE-Tech Apache A3 or MP5A5. Now we transition to gas blowback rifles, and kicking off the GBBRs is the thick P5 itself, the HK53 by VFC. Now this beauty is one of my more recent purchases, and it's one that I've been quietly enjoying, and so far it's been a wonderful little rifle. It's everything their MP5 should have been, all because of that hammer drop on empty. If you're noticing a trend of HK guns, what can I say? I'm a fan. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. So much negativity online for people with particular tastes and passions. Screw them. Embrace being a fan of whatever you like. The WE-G36 is next on my list because it is still one of the best GBBRs you can buy today. To me, it was the first gas in mag GBBR that displayed actual high performance. Early videos, showing minimal cooldown under complete magazine dumps, separated itself from the competition at that time, and even though I wasn't necessarily a big G36 fan, I saw the value in those abilities, and my friends and I were quick to adopt them. I felt that a comparable high-performing M4 didn't really exist at that time, which is what I really wanted. I compromised with the WE-G36, and it was the right GBBR at the right time. The action is crisp, the recoil is good, it's easy to use and great for beginners and veterans alike. It's also affordable, what's not to like? Having duplicates of items under different brands is a common theme in my collection, and with that, here is the VFC G36C version 2. As is the case with WE and VFC, VFC picks up where WE falls behind. They've done an amazing job here. Without going into a full-blown comparison, if the WE model is 720p, then the VFC is in 4K. Across all aspects of construction, finishing, performance, etc., it's a more refined approach. VFC G36 version 2. Not finished yet, am I? Now, here's another interesting example of a black cock. Beef curtains. The HK416 by VFC. I decided to buy my final VFC 416 to see if I could actually find one with a fully operational bolt lock. If you are new to the channel, then you might not have heard my previous disastrous history with this brand and their 416s. My previous failures with the V2A5 and brand new version 3 right off the factory floor A5 almost eliminated the whole idea for me. Check out the video here for the complete context. I wanted to try one more time, but just in case it was the A5 model specifically that was out to get me, I bought the Delta model instead. It turned out to be a success, as well as being a nice little GBBR too. The Vipertech HK416 is one of those GBBRs that I bought out of sheer curiosity, and to date it is the most expensive purchase I've made. VT are a top tier brand when it comes to gas guns. Massively over-engineered and overbuilt for the hobby, and within the first few seconds of holding it, you'll see why. The materials and construction are unmatched. You would have to go to HK themselves to find a better looking and feeling 416. That's the kind of big leagues we're in here. Vipertech HK416. Continuing with the AR variety, and the GHK M4 comes next. This late 2017 version 2 rifle asks for nothing except gas and BBs. It's not pretty, nor is it highly finished or refined as other entries on this list. From the box, it automatically gives you that feel of a clunky, issued service rifle hand-me-down. It runs well, and their AR system has a great balance of speed, recoil, efficiency, all culminating in a GBBR that is unapologetically capable. Tokyo Marui M4 MWS is the gold standard for airsoft GBBR M4s. I could go into the how and why, but you all know the story, you all know how good these things are. Other brands pin a poster of this onto their walls and fiercely discuss their plans to beat it, yet it's still vastly popular 9 years after it was born. It'll celebrate its 10th year anniversary towards the end of 2025, and despite its age, it remains highly regarded in this industry. Tokyo Marui. And here we arrive at the Kalashnikovs of my collection, and 1984's Red Dawn is one of the big reasons why I own AKMs. Almost in the same way TM changed the game with their M4 platform, they also delivered one of the finest gas blowback AKs available. One could argue all day about its external weaknesses in terms of materials, half-travelled bolt. However, the fact remains I've never heard of anyone complain about issues relating to breakages or excessive wear, even using a gas outside of its operational limits. It's why on my review I called it a juggernaut. It is happy enough chomping through magazines time and time again.
Tokyo Marui, AKM.
Good. Thank you.
The Taiwanese cousin, the version 2 GHK AKM, and its variants have had more ups and downs than Monica Lewinsky's mouth. Personally, mine has been wonderful, with only a few little flaws here and there. I think I've gotten off easier than some people from the community, which seems like a miracle for a platform fraught with issues of varying degrees of severity.
Still runs like a train. I'll be amazed if this one completes a magazine. GHK version 3. Gas blowback rifle. Alright. Well, well, well. It did something. Nice.
If you saw the immediate reception, things were not looking good with their latest AK. There were a couple of nice improvements from the last model, and yet it was all for nothing anyway, judging by what we received. Maybe things have changed and they improved their manufacturing processes. I don't know. One thing is that no matter what they do from this moment onwards, they still let this one escape from the factory as a prime example of what they are capable of, with the top cover purposely concealing the serial number on top of other manufacturing mistakes. Don't forget, they were 100% satisfied that this was okay. It's alright, just send it out, it'll be fine. Or what's potentially even more frightening is that they might not have even known in the first place. I don't know what's worse. I'll leave you with that.
Right? Wrong.
WE Tech was my choice of G3 battle rifle all those years ago when they were having their duel with VFC and their own licensed G3 GBBR. Did I make the right choice? To be honest, I don't care. This thing packs a big punch for a toy, so much so that it eats through its soft fire control group. I'm just waiting for it to bite off the hammer again, but until then I'll just enjoy the hell out of this thing.
WE G3 A3. That's a beast.
Bingo.
I think everyone else would have remembered it from the Metal Gear game, which I never played as I was a Nintendo 64 gamer at the time, and still am. I fondly remember the HK PSG-1 used by Mel Gibson in the 1987 cop thriller Lethal Weapon, showing the WE Tech how it is done in terms of external finishing. The VFC HK PSG-1 sniper rifle displays its exquisite West German curves. You get the feel of extreme refinement when you're fondling this long rifle. A great feeling right up until you hold the fake wooden pistol grip. Now that was underwhelming, I tell you. Still, this thing is a must for anybody that is either a fairly casual PSG enjoyer, much like myself, to someone that is utterly in love with them.
Hit.
So here we are, the final shot with the whole family together, and I must say it's becoming so difficult to get an image of the entire collection all in one place. At this moment in time, I feel like I'm at a stage where I am satisfied with the items within my collection. I am no longer at a point where I am eager to acquire this or that. I think I have all the guns I want. Of course, there may be one or two pieces that I would like to have, but nothing that I absolutely cannot live without. So that's the collection, and if you made it to the end of this video, I cannot thank you enough. For all the years of support my existing subscribers have given me, I am so grateful to have your company. To everyone that has tuned in, donated, and those that sent me things to review, you guys are why I continue to make these videos, and I have thoroughly enjoyed this YouTubing experience. If you are a newcomer to my channel, it's great to have you here, and I hope you enjoy my old and future content. To help support this solo content creator, liking and sharing goes a long way. Also, don't forget to pop over to my website if you'd like to try some Bada Bing Coffee. To all 20,000 subscribers, thank you. Take care of yourselves.